What's happening? Uh, this video here is about sex. I know sex is it can be a touchy subject, it can be a sensitive subject. It's a lot of different things you can discuss about sex, whatever. But just get right to it. What is a sex? Sex is a male and a female. It's like when you fill out a job application, it say sex on it. You put male or you put female. So with that being defined, what is sex? Sex is between a male and a female. You have your male genital, you have your female genital. That's sex. That is what sex is. That's the definition of it, in my personal opinion. Yes, you do have things that are oral sex, anal sex, anything like that. I don't define that as sex just because it's labeled that, because, that's why when you fill out an application, sex, male, female. That's what sex is. And that's just my opinion of my faith in God, and that's just what I believe. Now, is oral sex, anal, and kissing, all that, it's a form of fornication for pleasure. Yes, it is. So you still shouldn't do it. It's just like masturbation, anything like that. You still shouldn't do it before you're, whatever. It's still a sin, So, it's still a form of that. So, but it's not sex. How important is sex? That's really the question. That question is really based on how you feel about it. In my personal opinion, my faith, I believe that sex is one of the most important things you could do physically in your life. I don't think a lot of people agree, but I do. I believe sex is very important, and I'm finna run down why I believe sex is very important. Certain things about sex is we live in a world where, if men have a lot of sex, it's acceptable. If women don't, if women do, it's not acceptable. And women get mad at that, but to be honest, they kind of have a part in the reason that is the reason that is the way it is because in a lot of cases, women don't want men who not sexually active. Not all women. So when I say stuff, I'm not saying all women. I'm not saying all men. I'm just saying in a lot of cases, in my experience in my life, a lot of times women don't want men who don't have sex, or a man that's a virgin or whatever to that nature, because they think, oh, he might, he don't know what he's doing. But the thing about sex or anything in life, a person can be. Matter of fact, I'm gonna tell you why that's not valid later. But, women think that, they don't know what they're doing. So, I'd rather be with somebody who's sexually active, who's been doing it, who's done it before. So, what I'm saying? Them dudes that's why it's okay, because, hey, that's what women want. So it's not a big deal. Then when you go vice versa, most of the time, men don't want no woman who's been with everybody. That's not what they want. So when women get mad and say, oh, men do it, that's why you reap what you sow. So you got to understand, if you do that and nobody ever wants to make you their wife, you should be understanding of it, because you should be able to I reap what I sow. I put myself through this. I'm saying? I did that. I did that to myself. That's why nobody want to marry me. It's just like if a guy chooses not to have sex with women and nobody never wants to be with him, you reap what you sow. That's what life is about, reaping what you sow. And it doesn't mean good and bad. It doesn't mean reap what you sow is not karma. It doesn't mean if you do something bad to somebody, reap what you sow means whatever you put into life, you got to be willing to accept what comes with it. So if you choose to have sex with a lot of dudes, you got to be able to be ready to what come with it. That's part of reaping what you sow. That's part of example of you reap what you sow. And that's why it's acceptable. Now, to me, it's not acceptable for either party to let me say this. You don't judge, everybody has their different experiences in life. It's not like I don't want to come off as I'm judging people, because that's definitely not what I'm doing. But I'm just saying, as far as in right and wrong, to me, neither party men or women shouldn't have sex with a lot of people. That's just my personal opinion. And I'm going to tell you why that's my personal opinion. Okay. This is my method on why we should only have sex with one person in our life. And the reason it makes sense to me, and the reason I feel like God made our genitals the way he made them. Okay. Now we all know penises come in different shapes and sizes. We know that, right? Now, vaginas are like this. When a woman is a virgin, you can't put anything in there. Anything will fit, no matter how big it is, no matter how small it is. And I know that I'm saying how big it is, it might be hard to get that. Yeah, it's gonna be hard the bigger, but the thing is it doesn't matter how small it is, it's still gonna be hard to get in there. So with that being said, if God made it this way because you're only supposed to have sex with one person, okay? So if you only have sex with one person, this vagina is gonna mold into this penis, right? It's gonna mold into it. It will never stretch too far. It would never, it might go back down, yes, but it would never stretch too far. And in most cases, what men say, they like women to be tight, right? That's what we say. So it's not going to ever outstretch his penis. You get what I'm saying? And then with that being said, you don't have things like when you have women running around saying stuff like, oh, a guy has to have a big penis. Why does he have to have a big penis? Because of the shape that your vagina have went through. It's very rare you find a woman who says, her first time wasn't painful or whatever, because it's the way God made it. God made it where, this how sacred it is. Only one thing is supposed to be in this. Only one thing, only one guy, only one man. And it's just the way it is. That's my personal opinion. That's why I think it should be. You won't have to worry about the sex being good and all of that, because it's a match. You've matched your genitals together. So you don't need none of this and that. You match your genitals together. What can be more beautiful than that? You're gonna have the best sex ever possible, because that's just what it's gonna be. You're not gonna have thoughts of another person that you've been with in your past, the shape, size of what there is. Guys not gonna talk about how tight a girl vagina was, how loose or whatever that case may be, how moisture or wet, whatever it is. You're not gonna talk about that because you only had that one. And your mind, you have to put in your mind to only want that one. You get what I'm saying? You have to put in your mind to only, you have to get rid of your lustful thoughts about other people, as far as, stuff like that. And I just how I view it, it matches. There it is. You know what I'm saying? That's why he made it like that. That's what I think. And it makes sense to me. And then this is what it also eliminates. It eliminates things like when you have stuff like when I talk to people, and most of the time it comes from women. When I talk to women, I hear stuff like, "Oh, I wouldn't marry a guy who's not good in bed," And to me, that has nothing to do with a true marriage. And if you in a true marriage, that's not going to be an issue. And let me tell you why that's not going to be an issue. In a true marriage, this is just what I believe in my faith. In a true marriage, you combine like no other with that person. It's no other person in the world that you have a connection with like them. So you're going to have the best sex because you have the best connection. You know everything about each other. You know what she like. If you kiss her, you know what he like. You know everything about each other. There's no secrets in life. There's none of that. That's why you're not going to have to worry about, you don't even have to have sex before marriage. You're not going to have to worry about it if you two are best friends intertwined like you're supposed to be. If he loved his wife like God said, like Jesus loved church, and if you submit to him, it's going to be the most, you're not going to have the issue of the sex, because both of you will be loving to each other to work towards, oh, I just want to please you, or I just want to please you. Because in a marriage, in any relationships in life, we all supposed to look out for the other person. We're supposed to, if you're married or you're in a relationship, when you wake up, really your concern should be your spouse. Who you with. Like, oh man, what can I do today to make my spouse day easier or better? That's why I say in a true marriage, you're not going to have to worry about the sex being bad, because you two are going to have a connection like no other people on the planet. Like it's not going to be an issue. And that eliminates cheating. And I mean, cheating is a form of, people do cheat because sex isn't good to them. It's possible that's one of the reasons people could cheat. The sex could be amazing to them and they still could cheat. Sometimes cheating most of the time, to me, cheating is a character issue. It's not always about the sex or whatever. But a lot of times, there's things, the reason people don't have the connection because they don't talk about it. Like, when it comes to sex, I should be able to sit here and say, you know what, I like this. You know what, da da bam, boom, bam, boom. You know, and the thing about it is, we shouldn't even have to do stuff like that. Now, let me get into that part of the thing. Sex is supposed to be sacred. That means it's supposed to be, you're not supposed to discuss it with anybody. Personally, I believe that. Anything of fornication, to me, with someone physically like that, you're not supposed to discuss it with anybody. And this is why we have so much troubles in the world with sex, in my personal opinion. This is what I think, is when, say somebody have sex with somebody, right? They go tell somebody else, oh man, I done this with her, da da da. If we all had sex with one person, that wouldn't be an issue. Like, if you had, like, okay, say somebody get married, right? And, you know, everybody has a past, you know, whatever, but everybody past is different. Some people might, you know, have a certain amount of partners, some people have 0 partners, whatever, however it goes. But say a guy is married to a woman and, you know, he's with his boys, and his boys be like, man, is she the best person you ever been with sexually? Really, he shouldn't answer that question. Personally, if he's going to answer that question, his answer should be yes, and he should leave it at that. But I personally don't believe no one should talk about their sex life, especially with your spouse, with anybody, because that's none of their business. That's the most sacred. That's none of their business. But let's just haul off and say he says, man, you know, I was with this girl when I was this old, da da. If we only had sex with one person, that eliminates all that, because it's like a thing where this can cause you to cheat, because it'll throw your mind, man, I need to find what she did, you know, and that also shows that him and his wife don't have that connection. They really, you know, just because you sign a piece of paper, that does not mean you have that connection that you should have, you know, that, and that's just my personal opinion, you know, and that goes beyond sex. Like, the connection that you have with somebody, that goes beyond sex. And that's just me. And then now what you have in the world, you have porn, you have all kind of stuff. And this right here creates that image to us that, you know, oh, this is how, you know, you do this, da da, you know, and this the type of stuff, like, if we all just kept our sex life private, like, if no one never ever discussed it in the world, we wouldn't have these issues. We wouldn't have people being curious about this, that, because everybody would have their own way of having sex. Everybody would have their own way of doing things like that, because, you know, and that's just the way it would be. We wouldn't have the worries about, I don't need to ask you, you know, what have you guys done that we can make it? Because, you know, when you love somebody, man, it's deeper than that. That's not going to be, you know, it's deeper than that. Yes, we all want sex to be good. Of course, we want it to be good. But it's going to be good if, like I said, if you had a connection, if y'all two will work, you know, whatever. And then you have things like, you have to find somebody who's sexually connected to what you would do. Personally, because like I said, we've had images, people have watched things and be like, man, I want to try that, I want to do that. So now when you meet people that they have their things in mind, you have to connect to that person to be like, okay, you know, I want to do this, I don't want to do this, da da da. And then a lot of times, you know, you have people that, you know, I would never do this, da 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 da, whatever. But that's why you got to find somebody who connects with you on that level. Like, oh, okay, I don't like that either, or, you know, da da da. It goes like that, you know, and it's just the way it is. But I mean, as far as, you know, when it comes to sex, man, a lot of times people who deserve sex from you. And you by watching this video, you know, I believe that only your husband or your wife deserve it. But at least, you know, a lot of times women like to, in a lot of cases I see a lot of women who, you know, they say certain things like, you know, oh, you know, I'm only gonna have sex this, like, put a time limit on it, stuff like that. Like, don't do that. Don't do that, because if a man truly wants to be with you, that's not gonna be on his membrane. He's not gonna try to get in the bed with you. You know, he really, you know, want to be with you. Sex is not gonna be on his membrane or whatever, man. You know, but I mean, it's so many things that they cope with us. Think about it. When you watch a movie, what's the first thing that happens when they trying to express to the audience that two people love each other? They kiss. It never fails. Like, it's always that slow scene, they kiss. And we don't have the example to show that doesn't mean somebody loves you because they want to get physical with you. Like, it doesn't mean that. That doesn't mean they're in love with you. You get what I'm saying? That doesn't mean they want to be with you. That doesn't mean that. Because, I mean, sex is, a lot of times we look at sex, not we, but not everybody, but I'm saying a lot of times sex is looked at as, oh, it's just a thing to do, and this is the thing. I gotta say this, man. Hold on. Matter of fact, I'm glad I just thought about this. Look, man, this right here is certain stuff that in life is very simple. I'm gonna explain something to you. You have guys that they just want to have sex with women, right? And then you have women that say, oh, I'm not just going to have sex with you. You have to be with me. Okay, now, if a woman tells a guy that, let me tell you how easy this is. If I meet a girl, right, and we sitting there, I already know my intentions from her. I don't need her to tell me what she wants. I already know what I want from her. That's just the same thing with her. She already knows what she wants from me. So if a woman says, no, don't... Let me give you a little tips. Don't tell a man, don't talk about sex. You don't have to talk about it. Don't tell a dude, I'm not having sex with nobody unless we together. Bang, bing, a bulb can go off in his head, right? And this is the thing, because most people are not honest. A bulb can go off in his head and he can be like, dang, I can't tell her I just want sex because she gonna push me. She's not gonna talk to me. A lot of, it's just, honesty. This is why I tell a lot of people, honesty don't work a lot of times towards women, because if you say you just want sex, you're not going to get it. So you got to get it in a different way. Now I'm going to tell you why sometimes it's probably just best. It's not good to just have sex with somebody. But what I'm saying is you should respect a person who's more honest with you than anything. Okay? That's what I mean. But I'm not saying do it. But a bulb can go off in a guy's head when you say, oh, I'm not trying to. He can be like, dang, all I got to do is take the time to show, to try to act like, oh, I really want to be with her. Then I'll get the sex. You know what I'm saying? I can still do my thing on the side. Even if I don't do my thing on the side, I can wait. I ain't tripping. I can wait on that. Do my thing, you know what I'm saying? And then get sex from her. Bam. But then you got other dudes that like, and me personally, I think that's very wrong. But at the same time, let's get one thing straight. A lot of times women just want sex too, but they tell you, oh, I really want to be with somebody if I have sex with him because of an image thing. It ain't no different. And if he would have told you when y'all sat down, I just want sex, because you still had sex with that person. It ain't no difference. A lot of times women try to say, oh, he was my boyfriend. That doesn't cover up anything. Like that doesn't mean, okay, what if he wasn't your boyfriend? It's still a check off on your list of a guy that you had sex with. It doesn't mean nothing because he was your boyfriend. He wasn't your husband. It doesn't mean nothing because I see it all the time. People get in relationships or they make girls think, oh, we've been talking for this long, so he must really like me, so I'm gonna have sex with him. And I'm telling you, man, this is why sex causes a lot of pain. Sex causes a lot of pain. I mean, I want you to just think about have you ever been a time where somebody had sex with somebody and it hurt you very bad? Sex causes a lot of pain, man, and that's why we are meant to only do it with one person. And it's just what it is. The most sacred thing you can ever give somebody. And also the reason you're only supposed to have sex with one person and only your spouse is because kids. You shouldn't have kids out of wedlock. This is my personal opinion. Please don't nobody get mad at me for saying this. I got a lot of friends with kids, but this is just what I think. I believe that having kids out of wedlock is one of the most selfish things you can do in life. And that just stems to that having sex, before marriage is very selfish. Because you have kids, the kids come from the sex. And the reason I feel that way is because, first of all, it's not fair to them that you're not giving them what they're supposed to have, which is a wife, a husband, two spouses in a household. And it's also not fair to them that you're not setting a good example to what they need. And it's kind of like a thing of, it kind of keeps the cycle going. Keep the cycle going because we believe that it's okay, and it just drills into their head. And being an example is a big thing of being a parent. So that's another thing that causes a lot of pain. And then you gotta understand is, if you're not with the person you have a child with, when that person gets married to another person, in the marriage was yours, is mine, was his. It's no such thing as this is his, this is hers. Everything is theirs. So your child is going to be that person's child as well now because, it's just the way it is. And it's just very selfish, cause confusion, and that's just not how it's supposed to be. It's a dysfunctional situation. It's not, you know, it's not what God presented us the way that it should be. And, you know, it causes a lot of pain. You know, people in and out of kids' lives, and you know, so many people in their lives that's not really, you know, it just causes that. But that's my personal opinion. I don't. But again, I love it, but I'm not saying, if you have kids, you have to do what you have to do. But that's just another reason to know that, hey, God, He presented us to only have sex with one person, because this is, man, that right there might be the biggest thing about sex right there that causes the most pain. That might be, because it is real big when it comes to kids, man. That's a real big thing. It's just like marriages is when you get married, who comes first? God gonna be first, and then it's gonna be your spouse. That's just the way it goes, and it's the most sacred thing you can give anybody. That's how I feel. And the reason marriage, the reason your spouse comes before your kids, because I ain't never talked about that. I don't know if I should do a video about that or not, or should I say it now? But I'm gonna say it now. The reason that your spouse comes before your kids is because you share something with your spouse that you share with no one. No one. And that's sex. And that's the way it's supposed to be if we formed it right. We don't form it right. I ain't saying we as in everybody, but a lot of times, in the world, I'm just saying majority of the world, it's not formed right. And that's just the way it is. You share sex with them. You like, your spouse is your everything. Your everything. Your kids, your mother, your cousins, your sister, your brother. They can't be your everything because they're not supposed to you're not supposed to get physical with them. And I had a girl say to me one time, well, Adam and Eve, they had to sleep when they slept with each other and their sister. It does speak about in the Bible, abomination. You're not supposed to sleep next to kin. So no, you're not supposed to sleep with your kin folks. It is abomination. Yeah, man. To me, that just sex is very sacred. Sex is it's an expression of love. We don't know that, but it's an expression of love. Now, you can have sex with somebody and not love them. Yes. But I'm saying that we don't understand that it's an expression of love. Why you think it hurts so much when you give yourself to somebody and they don't turn out to be who you want them to be, or don't work out? It hurts. And most guys be like, oh, it don't hurt me. But have you ever been hurt if a woman gave themselves to somebody? Because that's how we have set up the world, oh, it hurt. Man, I'm just saying, man. Yeah, but if anybody, I always want feedback on my videos, even though I don't really get any. If anybody want to say something to me, or have a feeling, like, I know I touched on it a little bit. I didn't touch on everything. If it's something you can just put it in the comments or whatever, man. I'm always open to discussion, and I'm not open to arguments. I respect everyone's views on life. I might disagree. But I would never hate you, or I would never, that's not a thing. I love everybody, man. I just want your opinions, or what you think about it, or whatever, but I'm out, man. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it.